Peyton Manning asked Bill Belichick about Ed Reed, and his response was nothing short of incredible. Listen to this.
In the fourth quarter, best safety I ever faced, he and Troy Polamalu. What made him so special in your eyes?
Oh, my God, everything. Where do you start? Run force, tackling, man-to-man coverage, blitzing, disguise. He was great in the deep part of the field. Great speed, range. Then when he got his hands on the ball, he could score from anywhere. 105, 108, 100, whatever it was, yard returns on the interceptions. And then his punt blocking. When we played against him, we had a different punt protection whenever he was in the game to make sure we doubled the guy. We found somebody else not to block. We put two guys on Ed Reed. Now, luckily, he wasn't in there on every punt rush. And there were times where we played against him where he didn't rush a punt the entire season. But if he came into our game, we were double him. He had his own punt protection. Only player I've ever done that against in my entire career. So it was everything with Ed Reed. I told Tom, never release the ball without knowing where he is on the field. Not that I had to tell him that. He knew that. But you have to know where Ed Reed is when you release the ball. Because he would start 2 yards from the line of scrimmage, ended up being 35 yards deep, or he'd be 20 yards deep and blitz and get there and still be there. I have so much respect for him as a player. He was so hard to play against. And it was so unpredictable. You think you know what he's going to do, but he was good.
Bill Belichick couldn't have enough good things to say about Ed Reed. I will say this. I didn't realize that, and I knew Ed Reed was good at special teams. I didn't realize he was good enough to where Bill Belichick said he had to be double teamed on special teams no matter when he was out there on the field. That's something I've never heard before.
Yeah, I honestly, Brad, one of my first memories of Ed Reed watching him was him blocking a punt, was the impact on the special teams, right? And I think that just further validates for Bill. He was a Hall of Famer in almost every facet of the game. Like, people have strengths, a couple strengths here.
Yeah.
The thing was, Ed didn't have a weakness, is what Bill was getting at. He's like, what did you want me to do? And the fact that Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, two of the best quarterbacks that the league will ever see, are constantly talking about how they didn't know how to play offense. Usually say how you defend against the player. They did in this case, I guess it is like, that's crazy to think that a defensive player has that much of an impact. And I mean, Brad, looking at it, Ray Lewis obviously gets the accolades for and that feeling in Baltimore because of his play, the dances, the speeches, the aura. But I think Ed Reed, to me, was the most exciting defensive player that I have ever watched.
Yeah, I don't know if there was two defensive players that were on the same squad that knew how to break down film any better than those two did, and they used it to exploit their game. I mean, best defensive duo in football, I think, of all time.
Yeah, and it hurts that they only got one championship together, one Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But I will go back and watch those highlights at least once a year of what they've done. The one thing of Bill describing, or sorry, I think it might have been Peyton or Bill, or is Bill describing Peyton that Ed ran a wrong coverage the week before because he knew Peyton would watch it, and then flipped his hips open, got it, and fooled Peyton into baiting him into a pick. Dude's unbelievable, and that's the crazy thing now. How many pick sixes did Ed have on his career? I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to
40
look at
something,
the number.
46, something like that.
But I'll say this: the amount of pick sixes that Ed had, has anyone come close to that since then? Like, people were celebrating. Was it Bland last year on the Cowboys? Had some pick sixes. It was incredible. And it's like, man, Ed did that not just for 1 year. He did it for his entire career up until like the last 2 years. Like, so shirts and pants, man. Ed Reed. But Bill Belichick, it's the highest compliment you can get. And also, I think he said the greatest player he's ever played with or witnessed take time out was Lawrence Taylor defensively. Same different beast. But I think Ed Reed's up there with him. So
has to be.